Hello, welcome to Sizzle Crypto. On today's video, we're going to be looking at some Bitcoin dominance, the USDT dominance, XRP, and Ethereum, and we're going to check out some very bullish news. Let's get right into it. All right, for Bitcoin, as you can see, it looks like the price is getting a little tired. And not that it's going to go break down, but it might need a little bit of a break. We are on the 12-hour chart right now. So for every one bar, it's 12 hours. And as you can see right here in the RSI, it looks like it's starting to weaken. Because if you see, we got price action higher, but yet we have the RSI low. Essentially the same as the last push high. What we would like to see for higher highs and not some bearish divergence, we want to see the price go up and we want to see the RSI go higher. Now, it's not too bad because it is maintaining still high levels. If the dominance was around here and the price was up here, I would be looking for a pullback. And I think a pullback might happen. It might be healthy. Maybe go down a little bit. To the trend line. Overall, I don't see anything too crazy, but I do notice that Bitcoin is right now at 97,000, and can we see a push higher? If it pushes higher and it goes up to the 100K mark, I have some juicy news to show you for that. But for now, let's just check out the dominance. So we got Bitcoin dominance, and essentially it doesn't tell you Bitcoin's going higher necessarily or lower all the time, but what it does tell you is essentially when people are throwing money in the crypto market, Bitcoin dominance, when it rises, says, hey, people are putting their money into Bitcoin, and over altcoins. There is altcoin dominance, but we're not going to look at that today. We're just checking on Bitcoin because Bitcoin's looking a heck of juicy. So what I can see from here is that the Bitcoin dominance has been on nothing but a very sharp rise. Wow, look at that, right? Yummy, yummy. All right, fantastic. As I can see from here is that it's nothing too special. Let's check the divergence. Now, what I do notice on the divergence is starting to kind of wane a little. As it's going higher, you do see the RSI kind of staying a little lower, but what I do kind of see, and we'll see, we'll have to just wait to play this out, a little bit of a bull flag. All right, yeah, we see a little bit of, a wedge, but we're just going to have to see. But from what I see, a little bit of a bull flag / wedge. I don't want to be too crazy because we could look at it over here, but from what I can tell is that everything looks just normal. And that a lot of people are really eyeing Bitcoin right now. All right, let's check some USDT dominance. So, USDT dominance, we're waiting to see some confirmation. As you see, it did make a little bit of a bounce here. And it went back into the rising wedge, essentially pulling a fake out. We're going to keep our eyes on it. But if it does shoot to the moon this way, then we're looking for essentially the crypto market to take a little bit of a correction. Doesn't mean it has to be huge, but just for now, a little bit of a correction. Nothing too crazy to look there. But right now, I don't know. The market seems really hot at the moment. People are really eyeing crypto and Bitcoin overall. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I wouldn't be jumping into maybe too much of a trade, a short or a long. And I'm about to get into that kind of news in just a second. So let's check out XRP. All right, for XRP, right now, a correction would not be a bad time to enter. As you can see, it's going down. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Okay, it's broken out over here. Okay, perfect. But what I can tell for me is that if we do have a correction and it can hold this trend line, it might be a good time to enter. It did break out of this downtrend, and essentially, if it is to rise on this uptrend, which remember, on a 4-hour chart, if you look at this downtrend, it can even go further than 4 hours. We could look at 8 hours. It's still valid trend. And we could look at a 12-hour, still valid trend. Even maybe a day. Let's go to a day. That would be a heck of valid trend. So obviously, a lot of people recognize that trend. The higher the time frame, the more valid the trend. But it also takes longer to play out. Could take probably like days, maybe a couple weeks to play out. But we're looking for a steady, essentially 35% uprise. And if Bitcoin's continuing in an uptrend, or at least goes sideways a little bit to let the market, altcoins kind of take off, then I can see that altcoins will take off, and we could have a small altcoin season. But right now, I think the eye's on Bitcoin. And so we got to keep our eye on that. And I'm going to, as I said, show you some news. Don't mean to repeat myself. But let's check real quick Ethereum, because we do have the Petra upgrade coming on May 7th, as we were talking about. And so I think if this does play out and USDT dominance does rise and people take their money out of the market for just a moment, we're looking at essentially, okay, perfect. We're looking at essentially a 5% dip. And if it does have a 5% dip and it does hit essentially right here, sticking on this kind of, there's always support and resistance as long as you go up and down. But mainly what I focus on is 1 day, 12 hours, and 4 hours. That's why I have whites as 1 day, 12 hours as orange. I'm not saying this is a 12-hour, but if it could maintain the level around this previous high right here, then that might be a good chance to enter a trade, as if this is the play out, and especially as the upgrades coming up, I could see price increase, So let's check out that news, though. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. So this is what I really want to show on this. Bitcoin pushes to 100K, puts more than 3 billion in short positions at risk. And that is nothing but goodness for the crypto market, especially if you want to see the line go up. So Bitcoin is hovering around 97,000 and threatens to liquidate over 3 billion in short positions if it surpasses 100,000. Long positions also face risk if it drops below 93,000. But right now, it's looking more positive than it is bullish. It's looking more positive than it is bearish. For longs, and essentially what I want to read on this, the Bitcoin market is currently experiencing a moment of high tension, with the price trading 97,300 and testing key resistance levels. According to data from CoinGlass, if Bitcoin raises just 3.14% to hit 100K, roughly 3.36 billion in short positions could be liquidated. This scenario puts bearish traders in a tough spot, as a break above the level would just wipe out these shorts, but could also trigger a wave of impulse buying and speculative enthusiasm across the market. That is fantastic. Also, what I want to check on here, where did I see? Yes. The market may experience a massive short squeeze, because remember, when things get liquidated, essentially you have to buy back the position. The market may experience a massive short squeeze, reaching up to 400 million in accumulated liquidations, which could also fuel a break past the psychological level of 100K. And if we go down here, where is it? There it is. From pro crypto perspective, this moment represents a critical test for Bitcoin, far from being just a speculative game. The push towards 100K reinforces the narrative of Bitcoin as a digital store of value. Bullish traders are betting that if the price breaks 103K to 115K, massive short liquidations could capitulate the assets to 130K. Can you imagine that? A $130,000 Bitcoin when it used to be a fraction of a penny. Woo, man, don't we all wish we got in that early? Moreover, with a market full of high leverage of 25 to up to 100x leverage, even small movements can trigger a domino effect. So right now, especially if it can go a little higher, we're looking at very, very positive price action for Bitcoin. And especially if a short squeeze happens, yeah, we're going to hit over 100K. And that means when Bitcoin calms down, the altcoin season's gonna be right around the corner. But for now, let's move on to some very also positive news. Maybe it won't be as positive, but this is gonna help the crypto market overall. Apple lifted its iOS restrictions, allowing Bitcoin crypto payments and NFTs and 30% Apple tax. A 30% tax just to buy some Bitcoin through Apple? That's ridiculous. That's practically going to stop a lot of retail traders. You know, you might have some people who throw in a couple $100 here and there, but 30%? That's essentially killing the market. The market couldn't survive off of 30 cents. But now, with Apple ending that tax, that means a lot of retail traders who only have access to a phone or maybe only will buy Bitcoin or crypto through a phone now has humongous potential to jump into a huge market of Apple iPhone users, which I think will be absolutely fantastic to get retail traders into the market. And it's going to show that more companies are now supporting crypto. It looks like Apple before was just like, we're not really supporting crypto, but we'll make a few bucks off of it, right? If they want to pay a 30% tax and throw in $100 and we get 30, yeah. Now they're seeing it, okay, this is here to stay. And if we're going to be competitive in the market against Android and everything, we're going to have to play ball just like everyone else. Point is, it's going to get a lot more retail users in the market. If I was on Apple, I would be looking for so many alternative ways to buy crypto because I am not paying no 30% tax. Think about it, you have $100 to your name, you want to buy $100 of Bitcoin, and Apple's going to take $30 of that. Yeah, no. What happens if you have like up to 1,000? Apple's going to take $300. Not happening. Fantastic news for the market overall. All right, let's check in just a little XRP news. 900 million in XRP scooped by Wells in 30 days time for price to break out. Okay, so that just shows there always has been a lot of confidence in XRP, especially as they won a lot of the lawsuits. But it looks like institutional traders are gearing up for XRP to break out. And from what I'm seeing, if Bitcoin's going to break out and it's going to go above the 100K mark and then we're going to get an altcoin season, it looks like institutional traders are getting into the coin before that altcoin season hits. So it looks like, in my opinion, just speculation on this, is that institution investors are seeing that there is going to be another Bitcoin / altcoin season coming up real soon. And they're trying to get into a good position before that happens. And overall, once again, if you're in XRP, good for you. A lot of confidence in XRP has been the game and has been the name for a while. You always see people being part of that XRP army or whatever what they call it. And it's just nothing but good news for XRP. But as a whole for the crypto market, I think this does have some trickling benefits overall for the whole crypto market. All right, thank you for watching my video today. I'm grateful that you took the time. Definitely like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.